Hey everyone, welcome back to another. Well, this is a mini-sode actually of the Doki Doki Daikaiju podcast. I'm Brian,
I'm Sean.
and today, in kind of breaking news, it happened a few days ago, but we are both excited nonetheless. Our prayers have finally been answered, and we are getting a new Gamera project.
It's
So,
so getting something new on Netflix. I think it's an anime, but there hasn't been a lot of detail yet. So we're just gonna kind of talk about it a bit.
yeah, not much. There's an official website. There's an official Twitter. Um, and it was like Sean said, it was in partnership with Netflix and Kadokawa Anime, but no director has really been pinpointed yet, and so I think it's just so much is up in the air, but it's definitely exciting, and to see this character brought back finally.
Yeah, definitely.
So
So I guess one thing we could talk about, there's not a lot to talk about because it's just, what is it? Gamera Revival, Gamera Rebirth or something.
yeah, Gamera Rebirth, and they had an event this weekend. I think it was Tamashi Nation, so like people that bring out all the stuff for SH Monster Arts and a bunch of other stuff. They had like a Gamera Rebirth newspaper, but basically all it has, I did the translation on it, and all it says is Gamera revival, like ad nauseum. So it's not too informative.
Right. So one thing I did see that was interesting was apparently Shusuke Kaneko, who was the director of the Gamera trilogy, had gone to Kadokawa to pitch a new Gamera project, and he said this was already in development when he went there. So
Shocker. I mean, I'm
that
sure
was interesting.
no one clued him in, but
Yeah.
because the last time that I think I'm not sure, was Kadokawa, did it absorb Daiei when they released Gamera the Brave, or was that like the last thing before it happened?
I think Kadokawa was part of it then, but I'm not 100% sure. I want to say there was a Kadokawa had the bird or whatever on the front of the Gamera the Brave movie.
Possibly, but yeah, I like that movie. I mean, it's fun to watch, but it didn't perform great, so that's
No.
why we haven't seen Gamera really in any sense for now
Since
16 years, 15 years,
yeah,
at least.
yeah.
So, but because you were mentioning to me a while ago that you said you saw something, but it never came to fruition.
Oh yeah. So around the time Gamera the Brave came out, there was some news articles floating around online that Cartoon Network had picked up Gamera for an anime project, and it was supposed to be a Japanese American co-production, and then nothing ever happened of it. And I kind of feel that Gamera the Brave came out, the box office wasn't great, so they just like canned the project.
Or maybe they finally caught up with Hanna-Barbera and saw the Godzilla, and it's like, no, we're not doing this. But I mean, that was really cool or interesting, I guess, to see that Kaneko went to Kadokawa with a project. I mean, we know, as far as we know, it's going to be an anime, but I wonder what his original vision was going to be for a Reiwa era Gamera. Because I'm not sure if he's ever really been. Has he ever been involved with the production of anime himself, or just live action stuff?
I'm not sure on that one.
But yeah, I mean, what I did see though too was, in addition to announcing that he had approached Kadokawa, is he gave the team and the project his blessing. Which, I mean, I'm not sure how much on the inside he is, like with the information, or like if they kind of gave him the lowdown about what's going on. But he said he'll be watching from the sidelines, kind of like imagine. I think in his own words, he said as like a baseball commentator or like a baseball manager who's already coached the Gamera team, and he wants to see them win another pennant or something. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, I think when I saw the brief trailer too, they just had like the eye zoomed in, then it kind of went out to his whole body, and they had the classic Gamera roar. So they're not really doing anything. They're not deviating too much from the source material.
Right. So I'd like to see Oh, what I'd like to see from an anime. I guess I'd like to see them delve more into Gamera's origins and stuff. If they
Hmm.
keep it the same, like they keep it the Atlantis type sort of thing, or Mu, or whatever he's from.
Yeah,
And
considering what they did to Namor, I mean, you got to have some kind of representation from Atlantis.
yes, exactly. Well, they do have Aquaman,
Hmm.
but given that, so DC's doing Aquaman 2.
Hmm.
Marvel just did Namor in Wakanda Forever. So, and then there's Avatar, Way of Water, or whatever. Underwater things are in right now, at least in Hollywood. At least they think it is.
So
So it'd be interesting to see like Gamera delve into those like ancient origins with Atlantis and the Gauss and all that kind of stuff. If they decided to either continue with the Heisei storyline or
hmm.
work with that in some way.
I wonder if that's possibly why what prompted him to give his blessing, because I mean, I'm sure he likes the Gamera source material and being personally invested in those three movies. I mean, because let's face it, too, if it wasn't for him making those films, I really doubt people would still be talking or clamoring for Gamera projects.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The old movies are fun, but they're just dumb, like children's entertainment for the most part. Like they're just not. The first couple ones are all right.
Hmm.
Like I like the first one. I like Gamera versus Barugon. I like Gamera versus Gauss. After that, they take like a steep nosedive off a cliff.
It was definitely, I definitely think like the Japanese film industry, even like Toho, felt
Mhm.
the shock of it. Like in 70, 71, like there was that downturn in the economy, and the film industry was specifically hit because television really did a number on the film industry. And I think even to an extent in America too. Um, I was watching on Netflix. It was that the movies that made us, and they had the one on Friday, not Friday the 13th, Halloween, and the one gentleman who produced it, he was it was way back when he was getting into the film industry, and his friends saying, "Why are you getting into films? I mean, it's a dying business. Get into television. That's where the money is." So, and I think as Ultraman was doing extremely well by then too, that people really didn't see a need to go to the theaters. I mean,
Right. Yeah,
or
and
other
Dai
projects.
particularly, like Dai got hit really hard in the 70s. Like they had a whole big issue where they weren't paying their workforce, and they actually had like a riot at the studio at one point.
That's not good.
So like
They needed a
yeah,
guardian.
yeah, like stuff was actually destroyed at the studio that they were working on for future Gamera projects, and they just like shuttered the whole thing.
Oof.
So and then they did that with that super monster Gamera that's just all stock footage. It's like the Godzilla's Revenge of Gamera films.
But it was not at all entertaining.
No,
At
not
least
at all.
Godzilla. I mean, I'll say this too: the Japanese version of Godzilla's Revenge, it's okay, but the American one, because it's just so ridiculous, is
Mm.
I prefer to watch that one.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
But I think what made me laugh too is you said you want to talk about the Gamera origins in this series. I
Mm.
think it's like maybe they saw Toho. It's like we're going back to like, the 40s. This will be the oldest Godzilla film ever, and Kadokawa was okay. And then they
It's like
one up
hold
that.
my beer. They go to 4000 BC or something.
Yeah, hold my Asahi.
yeah.
So
So yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but I hope it's not like the Godzilla anime
uh,
because I haven't been overly enthused with anything Godzilla anime related so far.
I will say this though. I mean, I guess like because we did see a lot of reinterpretations of the monsters, but I think if they're gonna do with Showa monsters, I think they could do it. They could update the Showa monsters from Gamera because those are kind of like Gauss, how Kaneko did them were perfect. And then Gamera 2 and 3 were entirely new monsters. But if they're gonna dig back into the classic pile, I think kind of taking inspiration from like look at the Trendmasters toys when they redid like Jiger and Giron and all them. They kind of looked updated and cool. I think
Right.
they can do something like that or Barugon.
Yeah,
So
there's a manga that was released in the 90s that's
mm,
Gamera versus Barugon manga that's set like it's like Gamera 2.5 or something because I think it's
mm,
set after Legion and it's in the continuity of the
okay.
Heisei Gamera things and they updated Barugon in that.
Mm. I remember that. Because I saw it on Mercari. I was gonna buy it, but
Have it somewhere, but
Hmm.
yeah. Actually, it's right over here. I'll go get it.
Hook, grab it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you're real
right
close.
here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little hard
You
to
see
see
it.
what that is. But
Yeah.
you can see it's Gamera versus Barugon. It's a comic version. It's pretty
Does he?
big. Like it's
Yeah,
thick.
it's meaty. Does he still have the rainbow of death in there though?
I think so. Yeah.
You gotta have that. You gotta have it. But because I'm trying to think though too. They didn't announce how many episodes this would be, or if is it an anime movie or is it a series? I mean, just they said project. So I think hopefully they do announce more in the near future, and it's not like months down the line. I know it's supposed to come in 2023. They said so. I mean, I'd be utterly surprised if it came out next month. So
Yeah, it'll be next year sometime. Japanese productions tend not to be like super long.
nah,
So, like, they just announced that Godzilla movie and it's coming out next November. So,
true.
yeah, it's usually not super far.
And I think like traditionally when it came to anime series too, I think at least back in the 90s, like seasons would be like or a series would be like 24 episodes, like single shots. I mean, not like Dragon Ball or things like that that would drag on, but
Right.
drag on ball. but but
Right.
I know like a lot of other series like Initial D or other ones I watched. It was like just single series. They were like 24 episodes at the most.
Yeah.
So
Anything that had a season or like was a short arc.
mm,
You still get that sometimes. Like there's what is it? I can't remember what they are right now, but there was a few new anime from like a couple years ago when I was over there that they were like 24 episodes and then they were done.
mm,
So it does still happen, but these Netflix shows tend to be much shorter than that. They're like 8 episodes or 10 episodes or something.
yeah, they can kind of test the waters and see how they do. I think like Castlevania, for example. I mean, I don't think they were sure how it was going to perform, but it did pretty well enough to produce a few more seasons.
Right. Yeah, that had 4 seasons, I think, and then it's doing a spin-off, so it's basically a 5th season.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I have to go back and watch those too. But
I haven't seen the last couple seasons.
yeah, it's been a while. But I think like the Godzilla anime, I think is they didn't confirm anything, or did they last year say they're going to do a season 2 of Singular Point?
I don't think there's ever been a confirmation of a season 2. They obviously set it up at the end, like a post-credit thing with like Mechagodzilla or whatever, but they don't actually. I don't think there's ever been a full confirmation.
So I guess they want to let their projects breathe a bit too. I think they don't want to stack them too much because you got to figure Toho with this motion picture, that's going to take precedence over everything. So I think they're kind of like putting everything else in the back burner because not to go too off topic, with the new Godzilla and Kong film, that's coming out when?
Not next year.
Would it be 2024?
March 2024.
Okay, yeah. So it kind of gives it a few months downtime. I think it's strategically pretty good because people right now are hyped for the Japanese film. And I think after that comes out, there'll still be a hype period to where when the MonsterVerse film comes out, it'll still have the people's attention, or it'll have even more people watching.
Yeah, for sure. The Godzilla hype is going to be like at fever pitch by the end of next year because the movie comes out in November. It'll probably come out in the States in January or something because they usually get those out pretty quick. Like Shin Godzilla came out a couple months after.
Yeah.
And then a couple months after that is Godzilla and Kong. So it'll be this whole.
The only thing that's concerning though is I know like Ultraman obviously is bigger here in Japan than Godzilla, but Shin Ultraman didn't really have a wide release in the States. I think now it's like a Fathom event kind of situation.
Yeah, I think January it's coming out here.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder how deep they're really going to go into the Godzilla thing, if it's going to be a full theatrical release, like a regular film, or if it's going to be one of those limited kind of events. I mean, that would be a shame.
Yeah, Shin Godzilla was though. Like Shin Godzilla was a limited event, but they brought it back. It was so popular they brought it back again. So they must have made some off of it. But they've been doing this before, like these like Dragon Ball, back to Dragon Ball again. So the last couple Dragon Ball Super movies were like the first two, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, whatever. Those were limited Fathom events. But then Dragon Ball Super Broly was a wide release, and so was Superhero that just came out. So it may be one of those deals that they might think Godzilla is good enough for a wide release. I don't think Ultraman would fare well on a wide release in the States, though. Nobody cares about Ultraman over there.
Yeah, Japan, it's very different, Japan and the States, like in that regard, because I think American nostalgia versus Japanese nostalgia is like miles apart.
Right.
Because, and it's funny too, like I think like you and me both noticed, like when you look at magazines, like if it came down to classic games, it's like people in the States or in the West, oh, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 7, you know, and it's like you look at a list like Final Fantasy 15, why is this at the top? It's like it's because it's the newest one, or what's the best Dragon Quest? Oh, Dragon Quest 3, you know.
Whichever
5.
one came out last is the newest thing, is the best one.
So I think it leaves a lot of people scratching their heads, or it's like, I know for us, it's like, why can we never find Godzilla stuff in the stores?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you go to Japan, it's very hard to find Godzilla anything. Like I feel like it's getting a little bit better, but it's true. It was hard for a while.
Definitely, for sure. And I think as much as we kind of tune out of those Godzilla events that they have on YouTube, I think it's gotten a lot more merch out there, or people kind of gotten more hyped about it. So that was pretty good too. But I think the question still in the air is, do you think if this Gamera series, to kind of go back on the main area we were discussing, if this anime series does well enough, do you think Kadokawa will drop a new live action film?
I think it's possible. I think that seems to be a thing they're doing right now, is they're putting out an anime, especially a Netflix thing or Amazon Prime or whatever, and they're sort of testing the waters with something, because I don't know if you followed the Cyberpunk situation.
Oh, Cyberpunk 2077?
Yeah, so Cyberpunk 2077 came out, and we all know it came out, it was like half finished, and it was just full of bugs, and it was a broken mess. And then about a year later, CD Projekt Red fixed it. So they put in all the updates, they got everything running and everything. It's like, wow, good job, guys. Poland finally got around to finishing the game a year after it came out. And then what happened was there was an anime. Yeah, there was an anime came out for Cyberpunk that was in the same continuity, and it was really, really good. It's like Cyberpunk Edge Runners or something like that.
Okay.
And people loved it. And then they were like, oh, this is so great. Let me go back and check that game out again and see if they fixed it. And it's like, oh, they did. And then everybody like flocked back to the servers. Now they're talking about doing a sequel to Cyberpunk.
That sounds like almost like No Man's Sky. Like it came out, people were like, what is this garbage? It's like there's like nothing. And then like Hello Games like went back to the table and like did everything. And people were like, wow, this is like an amazing game. And because the prices of the used game, like a month after it came out, like plummeted. And then now if you try to find a copy, it's like almost the same price as it was when it was new, because the game is so good.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that situation might happen. Like they're testing the waters with this. I'm hoping this happens with Onimusha, because they just announced there's an Onimusha anime coming out, and that's another cool franchise. Like there hasn't been anything in 16 years in Onimusha.
Yeah, I mean, other than like the re-release we've gotten the Switch and like other systems, like they haven't even announced like Onimusha 2 or 3 coming out. Like I'm surprised they haven't done that.
They just did the first one, which I actually played on Switch on my Twitch channel not that long ago, a few weeks ago. And I've been meaning to talk about the Onimusha thing for a while, but I just haven't got around to it. But yeah, they're doing an Onimusha anime. It's supposed to have the likeness of Toshiro Mifune as like the main character, and he's supposed to be Miyamoto Musashi or something. So it's crazy.
So lots of stuff coming down the pike. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I'm trying to see if they're going to do that too. Like they're feeling the waters, kind of being like, okay, is there interest in reviving Onimusha? So maybe Capcom put that out, and I'm wondering if something like that is happening with Kadokawa Dai now too.
Possibly. Hopefully the stars align and that happens too.
Yeah.
But I just have to wonder if they're gonna do a live action thing. Is Kadokawa gonna try to produce it and distribute it itself, or will it try to do something like in line with the MonsterVerse and try to get Gamera inserted into that?
That would be cool. I would definitely be down for that.
There's lots of work with there. That would be pretty cool, like you said.
Like I think Gamera in the MonsterVerse would be good. Gamera in like Pacific Rim would be good.
Yeah.
I think he would fit better than Godzilla, to be honest, with Pacific Rim.
So definitely. And it would be interesting to see how it would perform in the States, though. As I mean, Godzilla has been, not that he's had so many theatrical releases over the years in the States, but definitely more recognition. So Gamera, hopefully this gets some new eyeballs onto the character and stirs new interest in him.
Oh, there's still people that think that Gamera is just like a ripoff of Godzilla, and like that might have been true back in the day, but that '90s trilogy is still like peak cinema for kaiju films.
Yeah, I was one of those people that like you say, oh, the Gamera Heisei trilogy is better than the Heisei Godzilla films. I was like, there's no way. And I watched them. I'm just like, oh my god, they're better.
There is a way.
So, but kudos to
I was the same way.
Kaneko. I mean, it's a shame that he had such freedom when he made the Gamera films, and he did such a great job that when he finally got the reins of Godzilla, that the Toho folks, they really kind of just kept him on a leash. And I love GMK, but to think what he could have done, I'm like, what are you guys doing? This guy worked magic on Gamera, which was a Herculean task. It's
right. I would have preferred GVA over GMK because I think Gamera Varananguris would have been or Godzilla Varananguris would have been much more compelling than a weird reworking of King Ghidorah as a good guy, which I never quite got with, and a weird Mothra that doesn't have the fairies.
Very true.
It was strange. But then Toho is like, you have to have Mothra and Ghidorah. It's like, but do you though?
Yeah. Well, at least they didn't force him to use Mecha Godzilla with the Garuda or something.
Yeah, that's
you have to have Super Mecha Godzilla in it.
That's just Bondi.
Perhaps. But any other final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I'm just excited to see what they do with the character after like almost 2 decades.
For sure. Maybe we'll see a future anime or something with Daimajin. So Kadokawa will
that would be cool too. Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool. But anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, please please subscribe. It helps us out. And Sean, where can everyone find you?
So you guys can find me over at the Courageous Frights channel on YouTube. We talk about movies and games. It's my friend Hoon and I, and we do like a podcast, do movie reviews over there. We also have a Twitch channel, which is Courageous Frights Gaming. So go check us out over there. We usually stream on Sundays on like about 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can check us out over there.
Yes, in the States, not for me.
Yes. Yeah, in the States. You're in Japan, I'm in the States. So right now we're doing Resident Evil Director's Cut. We've been doing a lot of like survival horror stuff.
Very cool. So, and I'll put all those links into the description, guys, so you can easily access them. But anyway, once again, thank you again for watching the Doki Doki Daikaiju podcast. My name is Brian.
Sean.
Have a good one.
See ya.